straight? Or is it twickle? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla and I make videos on corporate soft skills, project management skills, really any kind of skills that help us get through this corporate society that we live in with a little bit of grace from a first generation background. Today, I am going to make a video on how to successfully thrive in an uncomfortable, almost reach or growth role that you take on. I encourage that everyone take on those very uncomfortable and growth roles, those roles where you feel like you can't give a lot of input because it's completely new territory. You are in a position of pure growth, and sometimes you're uncomfortable because you feel like you don't have the expertise that comes with that position. This is something that I recently went through and am still going through. I have recently taken on a role in a program that is a very, very large program. And it is something that essentially, I was at level 30. It took me to level 95. And it really opened my mind as to how much I did not know. I'm constantly uncomfortable. I'm constantly challenged. I'm constantly worried that I am not bringing anything of value to the role because I am in such a reach moment in my career. But these are the best moments, and it's just really about perspective. These reach goals are the ones that help you move forward in your career, that you really learn how to, take on a challenge and thrive, or learn that that specific area is not the area that you want to be in. But one of my mentors always told me, if you are not uncomfortable in what you're doing, then you're not growing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be uncomfortable 100% of the time in your career. If you do want to take on roles that are a little bit more challenging and put you in a space of almost vulnerability, this video is for you. So I'm going to go through the 5 things that I've been doing to kind of take care of myself and hopefully succeed in this role eventually. The first thing that I started doing is I did the work. I did the research. I put in the hours, even the hours outside of work, to prepare for this role. And I continue to do so. It is a role that I really needed to digest a lot of information about the status of the program because I was new coming into this large program that had been happening for years and years. And kind of what are the processes, procedures in place, the communication protocols, the organization, how was it run, things that I really need to understand in order to thrive in the role and to really bring any value into the role. So number 1 is put in the work. It's inevitable. If you really, really want to thrive, it means long hours. It means really understanding with the conscious mind that this isn't going to be always. This is going to be a time period as you are transitioning into this role that you need to put in that work to really get good at it. Eventually you can find a balance, and I'm starting to see that balance actually now after 3 months. The next thing I would suggest is be realistic. Be very realistic with yourself. I may have bitten too big of a piece of the apple pie. I may have taken too much without realizing it because I was really excited about this role. And I previously, knowing myself, knowing how I am passionate about things and can learn things very quickly, I thought, no problem. Look at all these opportunities presented in front of me. I'm going to take all of them and I'm going to do them. And really, I was setting myself up to fail because I wasn't realistic about what I could take on. So I had to kind of take a step back, talk to, those who surround me, my bosses, my peers, and really start, I would say, delegating and almost letting go of some of those opportunities that I was being given. I did actually let go of a lot of the opportunities that I was provided, especially after talking to a woman that is really high up in leadership. And she was so inspiring and she gave me so much energy. It was literally 15 minutes of her time, just got to know her a little bit. And she said, do something, but do it really well. commit to something and get really good at it. Don't let, your pride, your ego, or whatever stop you from getting really good at one thing and be kind of distracted with all these cool, awesome opportunities. Those opportunities will come eventually anyway. But you really gotta, in these reach moments or in these growth moments, you really gotta concentrate on getting good at that one thing. Previously, I used to think you just gotta say yes to all the opportunities, and that's just not realistic, especially in my kind of stage of life where I also want a little bit of work-life balance, and I'm also not as interested in fully giving myself to work, but I also care a lot about my career. So that conversation really helped me say, hey, Carla, it's okay. I have this awesome reach opportunity here that I'm going to take, and I'm going to get super, super good at it. Those other opportunities, they will come anyways. They came once, they will come again. And hopefully it will come in a time period that I can actually take them on. So that was pretty cool. The other thing that I did a lot was ask all the questions. When you are in a growth role, coming in with a lot of experience in something else, coming in with a lot of experience, for example, I had a lot of experience in managing projects, not so much in programs. And so you come in with this sense of security, and there's a lot of expectations because you already have, 10 years of experience. And I almost became that timid person again that didn't want to ask the questions because I thought I already needed to know them because people already had all these expectations out of me. And I had to kind of stop myself. I had to look at myself in the mirror and ask, why are you doing that? That doesn't bring you success. Stop caring about what other people think. You're going to be in a better position if you ask all the questions. And most of the time, people need to hear those questions in order to bring up kind of those holes and gaps in the system and how to make it better, right? So I started asking all the questions, even the fundamental questions. And since I started doing that again, I really feel like I've been in a much better place and a much better sense of understanding, because I'm also the type of person who can't just read a document and understand it. I need someone to discuss it with, talk about what this certain point means. I always say explain to me as if I were a 6-year-old. Once I can get to the point of really understanding something, then I can bring in on my value. But if I can't get to that point, then I'm always kind of stuck in the same level and can't bring a lot of value. So in terms of the 3 things that I did at work to help me start thriving, let me say that because I don't feel like I'm thriving yet. So in terms of the things that I did, the tangible things that I was doing to really help me prepare and essentially feel comfortable with being uncomfortable at work are, doing the research, doing the work, discussing with people, asking all the fundamental questions, being realistic and really taking on the work that I know that I can handle, and doing it really, really well. Essentially, they seem so logical. But when you're in kind of a stressful reach goal where you feel incredibly uncomfortable and like you're not bringing any value to the table, your mind kind of starts fogging up and not really thinking straight, which is what was happening to me. I was overly stressed out and I couldn't take a step back and kind of analyze the situation. A couple of other things I did that are less tangible. Take care of yourself. I was so burnt out the first years of my career that working as hard as I was working now in the past 3 months really triggered that burned out Carla to the point where my brain was so foggy. I couldn't retain anything. I was working too much. I was overwhelmed with the amount of information that was being thrown at me. And I forgot to take care of myself for a hot minute, like a couple of weeks. And then I realized that I was doing that again and that I had triggered my burnt out self, that how much I did not want to be that person again, that person who essentially is a zombie when they come home and all they do is, eat, sleep, take a shower, go back to work. I didn't want to be that person again. So biggest one for me is take care of yourself. When you shut that laptop off, shut your brain off. Just do it. Whatever issue is going on, it's going to be there in the morning no matter what. Take your weekends. Go and do that hike with your family. Go and have that dinner with your family and be present without feeling the guilt of, oh, there's an issue at work that I need to resolve and haven't resolved it yet. Honestly, most of the time when you come back, taking your breaks, taking your weekend, you come back with a fresher state of mind. You come back with a better attitude about it, and it helps a lot. So my biggest one is take your breaks. You as a person is the first priority always. The last thing, be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. I have really, really high expectations of myself, and those high expectations sometimes translate to others, but I have more compassion for them than I do for myself. And when I don't meet those expectations, I feel a lot of disappointment, and I instantly go to extremes. My therapist says I'm a very extremist person. So either I'm doing really great and I know that I'm working really hard and thriving and I'm happy about it, or I mess up just a little, or I'm taking a little bit longer to learn something or a little bit longer to provide value, and I'm getting fired. That's where my brain goes. I'm immediately going to get fired and kicked off the project, and nobody will ever want to work with me again. Such an extremist. Jeez. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Find a way to practice kindness and give yourself the time to grow in this role. You're going to mess up. It's going to be really hard. There's going to be times where you feel like you're not going to be able to make it. But if you put in the time and you put in the effort and, you bring your best self to it, you're going to do well in this reach growth role. And if you're not, and if it wasn't meant for you, that's fine. There are other places that are meant for you. All right. Well, that was it. Just wanted to do a quick little YouTube video, post it out there because I have not had the time to do so. I have been reached out a lot about coaching and, personal one-on-ones, which I love meeting you guys, and I really appreciate you reaching out. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to do coaching, one-on-one coaching, but I'm thinking maybe I do a course or something like that, where, you guys can just grab it and go through it. All of my really detailed, project management, soft skills, career skills that I've learned, in a course manner. But I don't know. I'll think about it more, but just so you know, it warms my heart so much when you guys reach out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.